All right, guys, we are back here for round 3 with the list that you see on screen. Last round, we kind of just a little bit destroyed our opponent. Sorry, islands in front. Did not mean to do that to you, but to be honest, no mercy. What can I say? We're just here to reclaim the crown, as it were, with Amulet Titan, and we're doing that with the assistance of good old Elvish Reclaimer. Let's see if we can do some damage to our opponent with this particular card. And we have the match. Maybe we can just turn to Bajuka Bog, a dredge opponent again. That would be kind of nice. Play against Cameron 1 with a 0 in it. This hand would be so good if it had one regular land. We could top deck one, but we also could not top deck one and then just be hyper dead here. And if we top deck a non-green source, then we aren't doing anything until turn 3. Yeah, this is a mulligan to me. Turn 1 Reclaimer, turn 2 activate with Flagstones. Sign me up. We have the Bajuka Bog naturally in our hand here, but that's alright, I suppose. Let's get rid of this Summoners Pack. We'll see what we're playing against. Alright, Cameron, what you got for us? Is that your real name? Is that your IRL first name? Oh, our opponent is on a mulligan to 5 here. That might be what's taking them so long, is trying to figure out what their keepable 5 cards might be. Or perhaps mulliganing to 4. I'm not really excited about that. I prefer to play a good game of Magic rather than just be able to stomp our opponent, because wins are nice, but learning and experience that's reflective of the matchup, those are both things that I'm interested in. We see Wooded Foothills. We could assume that this is some aggressive red deck and play Grazer on one. I don't know how I feel about it. We also don't have Radiant Fountain to go search for with the Reclaimer to start getting value. I think maybe going Grazer into Bog will be fine. If we draw a green source, we can both explore and play Reclaimer this upcoming turn, but I want to get a blocker in play. As much as I would love to just jam Reclaimer on one, I think going with the Grazer is going to be marginally better here. We're going to put in the Bajuka Bog, despite the fact that we're getting absolutely 0 value from it, because Flagstones is an untapped source that we might be able to use later. So let's go ahead and Bog targeting them. Get your graveyard out of here. We don't like it. Even though it's empty, we don't like it. If this does happen to be Dredge, I'm going to be a little sad that we went ahead and used Bajuka Bog. But on the bright side, we can use Reclaimer to go get a bounce land and pick up the Bajuka Bog. The Bajog, guys. We can pick up the Bajog and replay it. Alright, so no untapped green source. We could explore to try to find one and just make land drops towards a eventual Titan. I think I want to go ahead and get this Reclaimer into play, though. And I don't really want to show them that we have access to the Flagstones, but I also want to be able to play a green source this upcoming turn if we draw one. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Flagstones out there. Definitely not swinging with this Arboreal Grazer. I don't think it's worth the 0 damage. Just going to be honest. I'll pass it back. But yeah, I expect this Reclaimer to be getting a bounce land, most likely. Bolt the Reclaimer. Well, I expect this Reclaimer to be getting bolted. And getting no land, in fact. So, yeah. That can happen. I guess this is Titan Shift, perhaps? Seasoned Pyromancer. No, is this just a really bad Ponza draw? I definitely never put them on Ponza after having done nothing the first 2 turns of the game, but we might be in some trouble here. Glorybringer, Seasoned Pyromancer. Yeah, this is Ponza. Wow. I would say something along the lines of, if you suspected it was Ponza from that start, then put it in the chat. Or the chat. What am I saying? This ain't Twitch. Put it in the comments. But then, I can't really say that, seeing as you have seen the title of this video. You already know what's up. The jig is up. It's been found out. Temple Garden. So we can play a preemptive explosives on 3 here. I think that is worth it. We also have a Titan next turn if we draw an untapped land, so that's good. Here's our EE on 3. Boom. So now we can't get punked by a Blood Moon or a Magus. We just need to draw any untapped source here. What you got for us, OP? If we do draw the untapped source, even if they have a Blood Moon here, we could pack for it and... Oh, wait, no, we won't be able to pay for the green. I was going to say, we could pack for it and slam Titan, and then in response to the pack trigger, blow explosives to be able to have the green, but we actually will need the green to play our Titan anyway, so... We're gonna be delayed a turn if they do have a Blood Moon of some sort here. Which it looks like they may not. At least not yet. Our opponent's on a really slow start here. That said, we're not out of the woods. Even resolving a Titan may not be quite good enough, depending on what our opponent happens to draw here. I don't love the idea of jamming this Dryad into our own engineered explosives, but I'm willing to do so because it means that our Titan will most likely just kill our opponent once it resolves. So assuming they don't have a Blood Moon, this also lets us block and get these elementals out of the way. Or maybe even the Seasoned Pyromancer if we expect to be able to bog it away. So we know we're not doing anything until they're in step, so we can just yield. They would have to have something crazy like kill Dryad, then abrade explosives for me to want to blow this explosives, so I'm not worried about getting yield punked out of it. This seems like a bad attack. Not gonna lie. Block, block. Well, they could have a lightning bolt. But they didn't attack with the Seasoned Pyromancer, which makes me think that they probably don't have it. Because otherwise they would have swung the Pyromancer into our Dryad. Because they knew that... I guess they just don't want to trade the Pyromancer regardless. I don't know. I kind of want to risk the bolt, but I also kind of don't. Yeah. Let's not. I guess there's no reason to. I don't think they have it. I'm just going to call it right now. I don't think they have the bolt, but there's just no reason to lose our Dryad if I am wrong and making a silly, stupid assumption. If we just top deck a land here, we'll be golden, so... Got a Bloodbraid Elf. Oh, they might have had a bolt. We never know. We might want to respond to this pillage. Actually, I kind of doubt it, but... We can still top deck Garenbrig here and have Titan mana, so... I assume they're gonna pillage... It would be hilarious if they pillaged Flagstones. Please do that, opponent. Please be my guest. Onweir Battlements. Yep. Makes sense. Might start blocking a Bloodbraid Elf with our Dryad, though. I'm willing to trade for a 3-attacker here with a Bolt and a Dryad. Use 2 of their cards. Alright, we need Garenbrig off the top. Come on, Garenbrig. Another Dryad. Well, I'll play it. Boom. And we'll pass back. Still want to top deck Garenbrig. And fade our opponent having a Blood Moon as well. Maybe it would have been better to hold this Dryad. I don't know. We still got to keep ourselves from taking this damage on board, so... It's an odd spot. I must say, I wasn't really putting our opponent on a Lightning Bolt your Reclaimer deck when I played that Reclaimer. Had I suspected they might be on Ponza, I might have played around it and played the Explorer instead, but what can you do? Lothus. That one could be problematic. It's also already a creature. Yeah, kind of a shame. Alright, come on, Garenbrig off the top. Or even, I'd take a Bounce Land, although it would be a little slow. Bounce Land would let us pick up and replay Bog to get rid of this Seasoned Pyromancer right here, because I don't need them getting even more tokens than they already have, so... It's not a Garenbrig. Man. Are we playing another 3-drop into our own explosives on 3? I guess. Try to make all of their attacks bad. I don't really know what our plan is. I guess we can still top deck either Gambrig or Bounce Land into Titan the turn after. Even just untap land into, or any land into untap land as well will work. Things are starting to get ugly, though. Opponent on their Molda 5 doing some work here. Exiled our Explorer. How rude. I like that one. You can't just exile that card. We're gonna see any attack. Close this, of course. Alright, Grazer. Get under there. Throw you under the Clothis bus. Sprawl. That's fine by me. You can have your Utopia Sprawl. Castle. Perfect. Now, I don't think we quite have lethal, but we can at least wipe our opponent's board here. So, that's going to be the plan. And we can't die to Blood Moon here if we set ourselves up to pop explosives in our upkeep in response to the Summoner's Pact trigger. So, here's the dude. Definitely getting at least one Valakut. Possibly double Valakut could be good here. I don't expect them to have a way to deal with this Titan, so I'm not worried about getting a T-West. We could get Valakut+Flagstones and get some triggers, sacrifice this Flagstones, and get another land. Nah, that doesn't seem... That seems worse than just getting double Valakut, I think. We could get Valakut and Vesuva copying Bog as well, and then if we next turn can get a bounce land, we can bounce land, pick up Vesuva, and have multiple replays with our Dryads. So I guess this sets us up best for lethal. We're gonna kill their colored sources of devotion for Clothis here to try to make sure this is not happening. And now we get to permanently exile both Seasoned Pyromancers, assuming they don't just go ahead and use the 5-mana ability in response to this Bojuka Bog trigger here. They may. We got one at Bloodbraid, one at Seasoned Pyromancer. Let's just yield to this. Okay, opponent. We did our thing. And we can yield to this one also. Not attacking, I don't think. I don't see the point. No. So next time that we get a Titan trigger, we can search for second Valakut and bounce land, pick up the Vesuva, play Vesuva as a bounce land, pick it back up, play Vesuva as a Valakut, and that should be a ton of damage. I have to assume that'll be good enough. Even if our opponent had like a Blood Moon here, we'd still be fine, so. Alright. Game 2. Definitely lucky that our opponent didn't have what they needed in game 1. Bring in the Purges for sure. Tracker, maybe. They do have Bolts and possibly Bone Crusher Giants as well. Don't mind Dramoka, although this can't be cast under a Blood Moon. But other than that, I mean, this card seems difficult for them to beat. It definitely goes over the top of their Clothis, so I'm going to try it. We want the explosives. We probably want Paths, since they deal with Glorybringer and Clothis and the Maguses if they have those. Although it does give them a land. We could actually path our own creature, like a Grazer or something, to get us a basic land, which is not the worst. I don't know about Tracker. I guess we'll take Tracker. It might be better than something we got. So we don't want... I know I said we could path our own Grazers, but I don't think we want Grazer in this matchup. We don't want Pact of Negation or Summoner's Pact. We don't really need Cavern of Souls. think the other lands are probably fine. I don't love Azusa here. We could maybe even trim one Amulet. I don't know, though. Maybe even one Explore. Explore seems good, digging us into our purges and our paths and stuff. Could trim one Reclaimer, because that might die to Bolt as well. I don't know, though. I kind of like the idea of Reclaimer. Let's trim an Amulet. Actually, that might be crazy. Maybe Amulet's one of our best cards. Although it does play into our own Explosives, because we're probably planning on Explosing on one. I'll trim an Amulet. It might be Blasphemy in this matchup, but I don't care. I'm trying to play the card Elvish Reclaimer. That's the card we're trying to play. I guess Explosives is kind of bad with our own Reclaimers, too. We'll see, we'll see. Well, this hand is interesting. Turn one Amulet, holding up Path. If we find a bounce land, we're kind of doing things. This is just like such a weird hand. I don't know if you noticed by all the mouse movements. That means it's weird. I kind of want to keep it, though. I feel like we'll just get run over, but... I mean, come on. It's so tempting. Dragon Lord Dromoka? Are you kidding me? Although this doesn't have any bounce land whatsoever. I'm going to try it, though. If they abrade our Amulet, this hand is a little worse, but... We'll draw a green source, assuredly. No big deal. Second Amulet. Interesting. We're going to play our Flagstones and pass. Holding up this path, because if they do play a Magus in the Moon, we're going to need to be able to float a white and then path it after it resolves. We definitely don't really care that much about these amulets, to be honest. Next turn, we can play double Amulet, and then the turn after have a green bounce land to cast Titan or Dromoka immediately. Probably Titan. You know, when you have double Amulet, it usually makes sense to get a Titan and start doing things with it, but I'm just saying. Yeah, with a bounce land, now that we have the second Amulet, this is a turn 3 Titan hand, which is pretty interesting. We could path the Elf in response to stop them from having access to 4 mana here. Is that the move? That would stop them from playing a Blood Moon this turn as well, and then we would be able to top deck... I guess we can't really cast a Celestial Purge immediately if we do top deck a Purge. I don't know, it seems hasty. Let's just let this go. Hate to do it, but I don't think we have a choice. Our opponent's kind of just going off over there. They have the perfect start here. We're on Flagstone's go. Bloodbraid Elf. That one's pretty good. Clothis. That one's pretty good. Does get hit by Celestial Purge. Not that we have that card. At least not immediately. Well, I kind of want to make the assumption they don't have the Blood Moon effect, because I'm sure they would have slammed it here if they had it. So let's just get rid of this Bloodbraid. Try to keep them off of Clothis and keep them off of clocking us. I think if we can manage to survive in the longer game, then we'll be able to come out ahead here. Our life total is a invaluable resource in this particular game, I would think. Could be wrong. Maybe they just slam a Magus of the Moon next turn and we get got, but hey, there's our bounce land. Alright, so we are telling our opponent, play a Blood Moon this turn. That is your option, opponent. Do we want to play the field or the Valakut? Let's see, so if we play the field, we're going to have 2 lands in play Titan, search for possibly Talari West and another Growth Chamber. I guess we're not triggering either, but if we draw a Dryad, we can float 4, go down to 1, play Dryad, float 4 again, 5, 6, 7. We'll be able to play Titan as well if we do draw Dryad. So let's play the Valakut. We might be able to then haste and like trigger Valakut and all that stuff. We can only do that if we go ahead and get the Valakut into play now, though. And here's second Amulet and the path. No Blood Moon. We would love them to have no Blood Moon, and we top deck a Dryad. Although, to be honest, if our Titan is of questionable value this upcoming turn, since we can't kill them off of the double amulet anyways, we could just slam Dramoka while we know that we can get it in underneath a Blood Moon, and then our Titan can potentially set us up with basic lands after. Interesting thought. We can also use our Titan to get, like, we can float the 4, pick up the Growth Chamber, get Talari West and Forest off of the, like, we could, like, haste our Titan, Talari West, Forest, and then next turn be able to play a Dryad, even if they Blood Moon, and then from thereafter, we'll be able to use the Forest for white, and our other lands for green, potentially, if our opponent doesn't have a second Blood Moon effect. That's a lot of forethinking. I don't know if that's even going to be necessary here. And that's all assuming we can even play a Titan this upcoming turn. May not be the case. We're not doing anything this turn, so we can go ahead and yield. But yeah, I think maybe the line is to get Titan into play, haste it with Hanweir and second Valakut. On the attack trigger, get Forest Talari West. That way, we'll have access to 1 basic land if they do happen to Blood Moon us after the Titan turn. And then if we are able to find a Dryad, we'll be able to potentially play Dramoka and go over the top of our opponent. They discard a Pillage. Interesting. Pillage actually would have stopped us from casting Titan this upcoming turn had they casted it. I guess they don't necessarily know that. They probably assume we have a Dryad or a Zusa here. I don't know, though. Pillaging the Valakut might have been the right line from them instead of just YOLOing the Seasoned Pyromancer. Because now if they don't have a Blood Moon, they're kind of just screwed. Okay, well, let's make sure we don't have any yield set here. We'll play this one. We're making our expert plays here. Growth Chamber. Float. Float again. We'll keep the bounce land in hand. This would let us transmute a potential Talari West. Here's the guy. This is the dude. We can yield to that. Yes. So this is definitely hasting our Titan. I guess we could die a double dismember, but I mean, if they have that power to him, we could get Vesuva copying this Valakut and haste, and then potentially pick up the Vesuva and play it as a Forest to play around Blood Moon. That seems like a lot of hoops to jump through for literally no reason, though. Let's just get second Valakut and Hanweir Battlements. This outer ones, inner ones reminds me of Foil. If you remember learning how to multiply a different expressions in parentheses from school, you may actively try not to remember that, but I can't help but think of the Foil method for multiplying 2 different expressions together. First, outermost, inner, and last, I believe it is. I don't remember. All right, let's stop talking about math and do the math that kills our opponent. So here, if we get... We want to definitely use this. We can get Forest and Talari West, and then if they do play a Blood Moon after this point, we can top deck a Dryad, and that'll let us cast our Dragon Lord Dramoka. I think I'm pretty okay with that. Let's see, if we were to get Bounce Land plus Dryad, we could pick up a Valakut, maybe? No, we get Bounce Land plus Vesuva copying Valakut, pick up a Flagstone. No, wait, we would need to get Bounce Lands plus Talari West. We get Bounce Land plus Talari West, but we can't transmute it and play a Dryad, so no. Let's just go for the Force Talari West line. This way, if they do answer our Titan, we can, in fact, have access to a Titan this upcoming turn via Growth Chamber picking up Talari West. If they Blood Moon us, we can top deck a Dryad and be set up to cast Dragonlord Dromoka to outpace this Clothis doing what it does. 5/7 Flying Lifelink, nothing to scoff at. And we'll pass. No packs to pay for. We're looking pretty decent here. Worth noting that it's possible there could have been a line to kill our opponent if we were playing the Boros Garrison and Slayer Stronghold and Sunhome. I kind of doubt it here because we would have only had 20 damage and they were at 18. They'd be able to absorb, what is that, 5 of it? And we would have been attacking for exactly 20. So they wouldn't actually be dead here, but especially factoring in that there could be a potential way to set up a Dryad there. I think that might have been a kill if we had that particular set of cards available to us. I don't know. I am in the game, and I'm not going to do that math right now. But you guys at home, if you can think of a line with the Stronghold and Boros Garrison with the double amulet, that the turn that I just played out, let me know if there's a way to kill our opponent with those cards. The person to get the, in my opinion, best line for that, if it exists, I will pin your comment. Another Seasoned Pyromancer. It's fine. Of course, if our opponent doesn't Blood Moon us and doesn't answer our Primeval Titan, they're just dead. Because we untap, we play Growth Chamber, pick up Talari West after floating a bunch of mana, transmute 4, and play Summoner's Pact, getting Dryad, play Dryad, attack with Titan, get Vesuva copying, Valakut, and a bounce land, pick up the bounce land, replay the bounce land, post-combat, and our opponent is dead. So, they need help here. They do have the Blood Moon, okay. I mean, I say okay as if that's a good thing for us. It's definitely not, but we did play around this one by picking up the Forest here. So if we can pick up a Dryad, we might still be in alright shape. Although, we don't have a whole lot of time here. Too bad we don't play a single Plains. Third Amulet, huh? Are we just dead here? Block this. Take lethal. Yeah, I think we are just dead. Alright, well, they found the Blood Moon that they needed. Let's go to Game 3. So, do we want to change the way we've sideboarded it at all? Sideboarded at all? I don't really think so. Suppose there's a world in which we could, like, protect ourselves from a Blood Moon after a Titan turn with Pact of Negation, but I don't know. It seems loose to me. I'm just going to run it back. Although, maybe I should cut the Dromoka. Whatever. We'll just submit it, because if there's a potential for us to resolve a Dromoka before they Blood Moon us, then our Dromoka lets us beat Clothis. And if not, if they have a Blood Moon in play, we're probably going to lose anyways, so we'll just run it back. Now we get to be on the play, so they can't just threaten us with a turn 3 Blood Moon. Well, our opponent seems to be taking a while, so I'm going to go ahead and cut to the game beginning here once our opponent does finish changing their sideboarding. We would like to play first. Would we like to keep this hand? With an amulet? Absolutely yes. Without an amulet? Not liking it. We do have a Snow Forest, but we need something a little faster, I think. I mean, I don't know. We could lead on field into Explore to pick up our forest to protect it from, like, a pillage or something, and see if we can do something that way. We also have to pack for our Titan, which is kind of awful. Although, if we draw any white land, we also have an answer to Blood Moon. You know what? I was going to mulligan it, but I'm going to try it. If we draw Flagstones, we can hold up Purge. And if we hit an amulet, then this hand's quite good. There's a lot of things that we could do here, so And our opponent mulligans to 5 again. And they are all in on this Blood Moon thing, it would seem like. They mulligan to 4 cards. Ooh, boy. They must have had several bad ones, I guess. I don't know. I will admit, our current setup is not that great against Blood Moon, considering the Purge has to be cast the turn the Blood Moon comes into play and not after, which is definitely something to consider. Alright, we're leading on field so we can explore on too. We could also play Amulet into Explore off of a Growth Chamber if we top decked an Amulet. Wood of Foothills. Sacrifice Wood of Foothills. What's the 1-drop? Elf. Okay. Something good. Off the top. Come on. I'll take a white source. Take an Amulet. A lot I'll take here. I think white source would be the best. White source. Another Explorer. Okay. Don't love it. Don't hate it. Dryad. That one I love. All right, let's get this Growth Chamber out there. Picking up, I guess, our forest. Nope. Now, Dryad, on the other hand, lets us play Dryad into purging their Blood Moon, which seems quite good to me. If they do just slam a Blood Moon here, all is not lost. Seasoned Pyromancer. That is not a Blood Moon. They're trying their hardest. Discarding Seasoned Pyromancer and Arbor Elf. Okay. Well, we can Titan them next turn in multiple different ways. We can play Dryad into Garenbrig Explore. Actually, we can play Dryad into Garenbrig Hold Up Celestial Purge. I like that. Yeah, let's do that. Dryad. Garenbrig. Pass. We can actually even just let their Blood Moon effect resolve and tap our Snow Forest for a white thanks to the Dryad ability. Since Blood Moon only affects the non-basic lands, our basic lands still have every basic land type. So in case you did not know that, you can tap your Snow Forests and regular forest for example, blue, under a Blood Moon or Mages of the Moon with a Dryad out, and still be able to transmute Tolari West. Interesting things like that. And now that we're holding up Purge here, I feel like our opponent would need something very crazy to stop us here. Not that we can attack with our Titan immediately, in all honesty, but we're just looking pretty well set up. I guess that does happen when your opponent mulligans to 4. Sad that the one time we played a Reclaimer in this matchup, it just got bolted immediately. Here's the Blood Moon. See, and I'm so sure of what I said earlier about the effect of Dryad with the basic land. I'm just going to go ahead and let this resolve and prove it to you by purging on the instep. I'm going to make you wait for it, though. Not doing it immediately. It's got to be on the instep. Wait for it. Tap this guy for a white. Tap this one for a red. Celestial Purge. Targeting Blood Moon. Untap. Alright, so we could play a land. Actually, we can play our Titan off of the lands that we have in play. Get double Valakut. And then we have 2 land drops remaining, so we can go Temple Garden into Growth Chamber. And that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triggers. That's 6 triggers times 3 is 18 damage, so we actually have lethal here. And can you imagine what would have happened if I was so certain that the rulings worked that way and then I just lost there? That would have been pretty ridiculous. But no, I have faith in my own abilities and knowledge most of the time. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. All right. Good games. Sorry for the mulligans. All right. So we are currently 2-1 here with our beautiful little concoction. We even got to see that the Celestial Purge that we happened to bring in allowed us to answer a Blood Moon, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm excited to keep this truck moving, and I will see you guys for the next match. This is Redface Menace signing off.